The Turbo 3800 Camaro is in the garage. We have plenty of room, which is great. Now, we've been doing a bunch of turbo stuff, some tuning, taking a break, going to some of the body work, because this car is the ugly duckling. Clear coat, gone. It doesn't look good. So we're going to do some simple things first, just to kind of test out my painting system, because it's all new since I've last painted. We're going to paint this panel right here. Get rid of that red Camaro lettering. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to put red back or something else. Still kind of debating. And on the front side, we're going to be painting the mirrors as well. Get those black, kind of do a green and black sort of theme. That's kind of what I'm going for. Now, I'm a sucker for original paint colors. They kind of grow on me, so I'm going to bring back this green. But that will be a process, not in this video. So let's get started on pulling out the panel. So to remove this Berger panel from memory, I think we got to take out the tail lights, possibly this panel back here, and to get to some nuts. They're probably speed nuts or some sort of twist nuts. So let's start with the easy stuff, this. Now for the tail lights, it's going to have those clips that you just kind of, you pull back, and then you twist this, and the clip looks a little something like that. Tail lights are off, and I'm just gonna say I really don't like these aftermarket tail lights. I don't like any aftermarket tail lights for these 4th gens. So I'm in the market for the factory style, or I guess there are like the Euro candy corn style that I'm somewhat okay with. That's eventually, we'll get there. But on the back side here, if I lift this back, we can see, I think that's a 10mm nut. So we have a couple 10mm, and then the Berger panel will pop out. And after that, it pops off. This is what we're left with. So I want to take this off, that way we can sand it a little easier off the car, get all the edges and whatnot. And then obviously we're going to paint it off the car, since we're not painting this section of the car this color. You also have access to behind, so now's your chance. Clean all this up, paint it if you want, and this is your best chance as any. You can also remove the back bumper at this point. So you're going to start with washing this down, kind of getting all the loose stuff off before we'll hit it with a little bit of soap, and then we can start the sanding it. Check out the spare tire. Jeez, that thing is done. So back to the lettering, what I'm going to do, it looks like there's some sort of red vinyl in here. So if I take this out, you're just kind of see the imprint. And I think I'm going to do that and just kind of sand it all, paint it. That way I can come back and do something later once I make up my mind. I've also seen people do like LED lights behind here. I don't know yet if that's going to kind of fit the whole theme. That'll probably have to be something I revisit later on. But for now, let's take this vinyl off, clean it up. Propped up on a table. Save my back a little bit. So just sanded this out, got all the vinyl out, actually sprayed brake cleaner, then just used a screwdriver to kind of pick at it. I left some little marks in here, so that's not great, but ultimately I'm filling this anyway, so it doesn't even matter, so I wasn't too worried. Now I'm gonna scuff the whole thing down with 240, and then another time with 320. Flash forward, we're mostly sanded. I still have to hit it, and I missed some spots. You can see it's a little shinier, not so dull in some spots. Now, I just started breaking through the clear coat up here, which that's not good. I can feel that with my finger, so I'm gonna have to sand down the clear coat at the top. Unfortunately, when you have to do that, that's when sanding gets really tedious and it's a lot of work. Otherwise, you can just kind of scuff it up like I've done. These areas too, where I bled through, well, that's catching with my nail, so I'm going to need to do the same. There's also a damage spot right here. Not sure if I'm gonna fill that or not. We'll see. Here's another nick. So, got some body work to do still. So this is it, all sanded. This is as far as I'm gonna take it. Gotta remind myself, at the end of the day, this is a track car. Like, I don't need to make it 100% perfect. So, instead of filling this, I just kind of sanded the area around to make it a little less noticeable. Left that one. This area I think came out pretty good. Luckily with 180, it just took the clear coat off and we got it nice and smooth. Can't even feel my finger, so that's good. There was some weird scratches down here, and I think that's gone. I can't feel anything, and you can see like a tiny mark. That's kind of what I was dealing with, but I think the primer is gonna cover that. Working on removing the mirror. It just had this cover piece with someone shoved a screw in there. I think it's supposed to snap in, so the other side does not have a screw. That's going to be interesting. You don't need to remove the door panel. Just take out this screw back here, and then you can kind of pop it up. Oh, you will need to take out that screw. Mine doesn't have it. You can pop it up, and right down there we can see our connector for the mirror, for the power mirror. We also have plenty of access to get to those nuts now. So the two mirrors are off, driver's side, passenger side. For some reason this one's already black, and then this is that greenish color. I think it's Mystic Teal. So yeah, it's dirty. Let's clean these up, sand them, get ready to paint them. Whole process. So let's just fast forward. And ta-da! All sanded. This is what they look like. So turned out pretty good. This one I don't think is from this car. I think they picked this up at a junkyard off a Z28. So at this point we are all sanded, prepped. Unfortunately it's about to rain, so whenever it stops raining and it's not humid out, we'll pick this back up again, and basically we're ready to start spraying. Well, the garage is officially a mess, but this is kind of what I'm working with. So the paint I'm going to be using is the leftover paint that I have from way back a few years ago at this point, when I did painting the black fender on the Dodge Dakota. So this is the Dodge Dakota black, but for the most part black is black, so it's gonna be black. It's a glossy black, so we're gonna be good. I also have a clear, but we're gonna start with a sealer. It's not really a filler primer, it's a 1K sealer. You just kind of spray it, and then about an hour later you can spray your top coat and just kind of go. Since we're not really doing any body work, we're not really worrying about that. I think that's gonna work out just fine. I just hit it with this panel prep, wiped it down, so we are just about all good. Got my gun all set up for the most part. LVLP again. And I'll show you the new compressor I got. Picked this up on Marketplace months ago. It's the Kobalt Quiet. It is so quiet, and that's the main reason I got it. I couldn't stand the other compressor I had. So I can have this running, I can talk. We have it on my big heavy duty extension cord, so we're all good. All right, well, I guess let's fill the gun up with some sealer and spray it. And we had some issues. So as you see, there's primer on, but I had terrible fish eyes, and it would barely stick, and it just wasn't coming out of the gun. Well, turns out my gun was clogged, of course. Actually, the vent was clogged up here. I keep having that happen. I'm trying to go to a different paint cup system, but Harbor Freight didn't have it in stock. So, fixed the issue. I sprayed the mirrors. They look pretty good. So this is all sanded, ready to be sprayed again. We're about to spray it. Now for the paint. I picked up this at AutoZone, and this is what I'm using to clean the gun. They didn't have lacquer thinner. So I don't know if my leftover 1K sealer is good or not, but I know this is. So now that we have the gun working, I'm thinking let's just send it. Let's try spraying this again. Let's see if this is even good or not. Okay, paint loaded up with the sealer. We're running about 18 PSI. Let's do this. Oh yeah, much better. I'm going to try 25 PSI, see if it gets rid of the texture. So after the first coat, immediately what I'm seeing is just texture. Now this is from being sprayed on too dry. So when I turned up the air pressure, it actually looks like it did better. Here's a spot where it looks like it did better. I mean, it's still textury. It is wet, so it's gonna kind of level out. Ultimately, what I think I'm gonna do is, once this dries, and probably tomorrow, sand it flat again, and then we're gonna hit it with this filler primer to kind of build it back up. And ultimately what I'm trying to do is test out, get my gun settings dialed in before I go to the base and the clear, because with primer you can sand it, so there's nothing to worry about. It's just paint. We're just gonna sand it flat, hit it again. It's the next day, everything is perfectly dry, and check this out. I thought this was coming out terrible, but this laid down really, really good. I am so shocked. So this is the 1K sealer primer that I had, and then this was the filler primer that I picked up, and this one came out okay. I sprayed this one, I think I only got one coat on it because I wasn't really loving the results that I was getting. Now, in retrospect, what I realized is I need my air pressure turned up more. My droplets were too big, and it was giving me that orange peel. The only reason it laid flat and leveled is because the paint is really good at leveling. So kind of got lucky there. Base coat, especially clear coat's not going to do that. So we're going to need to fine tune the gun, but we're at a good spot. Let's sand this up, scuff it up, and then we can spray that color on. Also, I switched to the 1.3 millimeter tip. I was using the 1.5, so base coat's a little thinner than primer, so should all work out. We're gonna run about 24 psi, something like that. Alright, it's flashing off. It's about dull, so that's about time to hit it with another coat. I mixed up another round. So the first time I had, let's say about 8 ounces, and now I'm mixing up about 6. We're probably going to use about 12 ounces total, just to give you an idea. This color is kind of unique, and it has some blue coming through when you see it in the sun. So that's interesting. But I'm trying to get all the corners. Obviously my table setup's not ideal, so I'm missing this spot, so I'm gonna have to go do that again. But we're about ready. Let's hit it. Now for the clear coat, here's the leftover that I have. It's just high gloss, basic stuff. It's 4:1 with this activator. This is a medium. It's about 60 degrees out, so I really should have maybe something a little higher, but medium will be fine. We'll just wait a little bit longer before the second coat. So we should be all set. Let's mix up a 4:1 ratio. All set up. So I cleaned the gun out completely, ran some acetone through it, and we're using a different paint cup. That's just kind of how I do it. That way I don't mix any colors into my clear. So we're all good. I bumped the pressure up just a tiny bit. We're about 28 psi now. So let's see how this goes, and just as we need. At this point, we're 2 coats in, and I'm gonna do 1 more coat just on this. I think the mirrors are fine as is. Now there's some dust in here. Obviously, I don't have a tack rag. I'm a little unprepared for this. I'm just kind of going as I go, and I got some dust in here. It's not that great, honestly. But what I really care about is, you know, the texture. This is seemingly looking pretty good. My sanding could have been a little bit flatter, but the texture wise, I mean, it looks fairly decent, and that's the biggest thing. I can take whatever I learned from this, like setting up the gun, cleaning, pressures, all that, and then apply it to more parts on the car, which is ultimately the goal here. You know, these are little things. If this comes out terrible, it's just paint. You know, just sand it down, do it again. It's just paint. The mirrors, everything's installed. This is kind of what it looks like. Give you a quick walk around first. Here's the Berger panel. And to the other mirror. So the mirrors have some texture in them. I mean, everything does. We're gonna have to do something. In the direct sunlight, it's really noticeable. This one is the worst. There was a point where I was spraying and it was going down too thick, and I stopped before I made any worse. But on the back side here, this looks fairly decent. There's just some dirt and just things in the clear coat, unfortunately. But we put enough coats. I think I should be able to wet sand and take some of that out. This one's not as textury. It's textured up here. I guess I didn't put it on thick enough up here, but that's okay. You can't see when the trunk's closed anyways. But yeah, it looks pretty good. A little dirty now because of these ugly taillights that I had to put back in. Let me know what you think. Do you like the black? Should I do something with the Camaro lettering? Now, something I didn't mention, I'm having some issues. I don't think it's with this compressor per se, but I left it and it's bleeding out, so I have a leak somewhere. And my ears are telling me that it's either this fitting or one of the fittings behind it, but I'm gonna bet it's this fitting. Whoa, look at this hose. I might need a new hose. I didn't even notice that. Okay, well, I was having an issue where you pull the trigger down and, you know, it jumps down about 10 psi like normal, but then it keeps going down another 10 psi. So if I started at high 25s, I would end up just under 20, like 19, and at that low pressure, that variance, that's giving me some texture. So I got to figure that out before I paint again. So overall, this was good practice, kind of just getting my feet wet, getting back into painting, because it's a skill that you constantly have to work at, and I still got some work to do. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.